If you redesign your home without knowing what I'm about to show you, you are actively working against yourself. I know that sounds dramatic, but hear me out. I spent 3 years and over $11,000 trying to make my home feel like the spaces I kept saving on Pinterest. 3 years. $11,000. And every single morning I walked downstairs and felt that same tight feeling in my chest, the one that says this still isn't right. The furniture didn't flow. The colors clashed in ways I couldn't explain. Rooms felt smaller, heavier, chaotic, and I couldn't figure out why. So in January of this year, I did something I never expected to work. I handed complete creative control of every single room in my home to ChatGPT. No filters, no second-guessing it. Whatever it said, I did. And what happened over the next 47 days changed the way I think about home design completely. Some of the AI's suggestions were genuinely brilliant. The kind of ideas an interior designer would charge you $400 an hour for. And some of them were absolutely unhinged. We're talking borderline chaos. But here's the part that shocked me most, and the part nobody talks about. There were 3 specific warnings the AI gave me early on that I almost ignored. And those 3 warnings, they were the entire reason this worked. Before I get into those warnings, I need you to understand who this video is actually for. Because if you've ever walked into someone else's home and felt that instant pang, that mix of admiration and embarrassment, this is for you. If you've ever had guests coming over and spent 45 minutes frantically moving things around trying to make your space look intentional instead of accidental, this is for you. If you've bought throw pillows, new curtains, a lamp, a rug, and somehow the room still feels wrong, this is for you. According to a 2023 survey by House, 68% of homeowners said their #1 home-related stress was not knowing where to start with redesigning a space. Not money, not time, not knowing where to start. And that's exactly the trap I was in. You buy things, you rearrange things, but without a system, without someone or something to give you a clear, honest framework, you're just moving the chaos around. You're not solving it. And the worst part? Every dollar you spend without that framework is a dollar spent working against the home you actually want. Okay, warning number 1, and this one hit me like a truck. When I first fed ChatGPT a description of my living room, dimensions, furniture, colors, how I actually use the space, the very first thing it told me was this: you are designing every room for how you think it should look, instead of how you actually live in it. That sentence sat with me for a long time. Because it was true. My living room had a formal sofa arrangement that looked great in photos and felt stiff and uncomfortable every single evening when my family actually sat in it. The AI told me the #1 reason most redesigns fail is a mismatch between aesthetic intention and behavioral reality. In plain English, you design for the imaginary version of your life instead of your actual life. It told me to spend 7 days logging exactly how I used each room before touching a single thing. 7 days. I almost skipped this step. I almost said I know how I use my rooms, I don't need to write it down. But I did it. And what I discovered in those 7 days completely reframed every decision I made after. The living room wasn't used for formal sitting. It was used for reading, for homework, for my youngest watching shows on the floor. The whole layout needed to rotate 90 degrees, one change, completely different room. Warning number 2, this one is where things got a little unhinged. And also a little genius at the same time. I gave the AI my bedroom details. Cream walls, dark wood furniture, navy blue bedding. Classic, right? Safe. Totally inoffensive. The AI's response was blunt. It said, "Your bedroom is designed to look acceptable to other people, not to feel restorative to you." It then gave me a color psychology breakdown I had never seen framed that way before. It explained that most people choose neutral or safe colors because they're afraid of committing to something bold and being wrong, so they end up in rooms that are visually quiet but emotionally empty. The AI told me to answer 3 specific questions before choosing any bedroom color. 1. What is the first emotion you want to feel when you walk in? 2. What time of day do you spend the most time in this room? 3. Warning 3. This is the one I almost didn't include because it made me feel called out in a way that was genuinely uncomfortable. When I described my kitchen and dining area to the AI, it came back with something I wasn't expecting at all. It said, "Based on your description, your space has clutter that is not a storage problem. It is a decision fatigue problem. Let me explain what that means. Most people think clutter happens because they don't have enough storage, so they buy more baskets, more shelving units, more organizational systems. But the AI pointed out that clutter is actually a symptom of delayed decisions. Every object sitting out on your counter, your table, your shelves, every single one represents a decision you haven't made yet about whether it belongs in your life. And when you're surrounded by hundreds of those unmade decisions every day, your brain registers it as low-level chronic stress. Every time you walk through that room, your nervous system is processing all of it. That's why some rooms feel heavy even when they're technically tidy. The AI gave me a rule I now use every single time I bring something new into my home. If it doesn't have a permanent, intentional home the moment it enters the house, it doesn't come in. That single rule eliminated more visual noise from my space in 2 weeks than 3 years of buying storage solutions ever did. So why do so many people fall into these exact 3 traps over and over again? Here's what the AI told me, and what I've come to believe is the real reason home redesigns fail. We've been trained to consume home content passively. We watch videos, we save posts, we screenshot rooms we love, and slowly, unconsciously, we start designing our homes for an audience of imaginary people instead of for the actual person who lives inside those walls, which is you. You fall for the room function trap because every aspirational home image you've ever seen shows a perfectly staged space with no evidence of real living in it. You fall for the color confidence illusion because choosing a safe color feels like the responsible choice, but it's actually just fear wearing sensible shoes. And you fall for the clutter loop because every organizing product advertised to you promises to fix the symptom while the actual problem, making decisions, never gets addressed. The AI didn't design my home. What it actually did was force me to stop designing my home for strangers and start designing it for myself. And that distinction, that one mental shift, is worth more than any piece of furniture you could buy. So what's the actual path forward? Here's exactly what I did and what I'd tell you to do starting today. Step 1. Before you buy a single thing, spend 7 days observing how you actually use each room. Not how you think you use it. Actually watch yourself. Step 2. Answer those 3 bedroom questions for every room in your home. What emotion do you want first? When do you use it most? What direction does the light come from? Step 3. Go through every surface in your home and ask yourself, has this object earned its permanent place? If you can't answer yes immediately, it needs to go. Now, at around the 7-minute mark of this process when I was deep in the AI rabbit hole, I started sourcing every single product it recommended directly from Amazon. And I'm going to be fully transparent with you. Every item is linked in the description below. We're talking the exact brass accent pieces for the bedroom, the specific matte finish paint tools, the minimal storage solutions for the kitchen that actually address the decision fatigue problem instead of just hiding it. These are affiliate links, which means if you purchase through them it costs you nothing extra, but it does support this channel. I only linked things I personally bought and currently have in my home. Nothing recommended that I didn't actually live with for at minimum 30 days. The full before and after room breakdown with exact product names, prices, and the AI prompts I used are all pinned in the comments. Here's where I want to close the loop I opened at the very beginning of this video. I told you that 3 warnings almost stopped this entire experiment from working. Those 3 warnings, the room function trap, the color confidence illusion, and the clutter loop, they're not design problems. They're thinking problems. And no amount of money spent, no new furniture, no paint color, no organizational bin is going to fix a thinking problem. What changed my home wasn't the AI, it wasn't the products. It was being forced, finally, to stop performing a beautiful home and start building one that actually serves the person living inside it. Your home can feel completely different. Not in 3 years, not after an $11,000 overhaul. It can feel different in the next 30 days if you stop working against yourself and start working from the 3 principles I just gave you. If this video made you think differently about your space, share it with one person whose home you know doesn't feel the way they want it to feel. Subscribe if you want to see the full room-by-room AI breakdown coming next week, and drop in the comments, which of those 3 traps have you been stuck in the longest? I read every single one. Disclaimer: this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing constitutes professional advice of any kind.